Hello everyone and Madayaw, welcome. I made this video for hopefully it would help teachers and students who are in the arts and design track of senior high. So I'm teaching Creative Industry 2, Performing Arts. And I know it is very hard to think of performance-based assessment or performance tasks. I have really racked my brains into making some of their performance tasks the best and things that would really help them in the industry and things that would really help students think. So this is one of their performance tasks or performance-based assessment. It is to design their own theater. So I'm going to give you some parameters. So teachers out there who would like to use this in creating their own performance task, you may do so. I hope that it could greatly help you. So I am actually releasing some of my videos for the public. Hopefully it will help others because I know it's very rare to have senior high school arts, which is strange because arts is such a good field right now. It's such a lucrative field lately. I don't know why we don't have as much schools that offer arts and design. And if you do have arts and design, it's not all sketching, drawing, painting, things like that. Arts right now is so big. It's so big. So in our school, when you take Creative Industry 1, which is production, arts production and appreciation, you also take Creative Industry 2, Performing Arts. It is very, very important because even if you say, oh, Teacher Maita, I'm not going to perform. I'm not going to be in the performative space, performative arts field, none of that. I'm going to be in painting, visual arts, or even multimedia arts. That's where you guys are wrong. Right now, arts is a multi-field. It's a multi-field industry. You can't just say, oh, I only do sketching. No, you have to know the basics of everything. And besides, performing arts is very important right now, especially if you want to sell your product, not just your art, your product, and or your brand name as an artist. Why? Because you need to know how people consume entertainment. And that's the thing with performing arts. Performing arts is a 4D art. You have your X plane, Y plane, and Z plane, and of course, the fourth dimension, which is time, because people want experience. And performing arts is all about appreciating the experience of an artwork. So new form media falls into this, which is heavily into technology. So new form media is art that uses technology. So a lot of things like motion capture, which is the new form of puppetry, don't you think? Making videos and things like that, those fall under performing arts. So I'm going to take you through this performing task or performance task, or maybe in your school you call it performance-based assessment. Depends what you want to call it. For now, let's call it project. This theater project. This theater project is about designing your own unique theater. So why am I letting the students do this project like this? Why am I making them design a theater when I don't even know if they will be into the performing arts space? And even if they will, I don't even know if they would like to own or operate their own theater. One needs to know how a theater is being operated and what is the best way to do that than to design your own theater. So let me share my screen and show you. So let's go into theater design. What is theater design? If you can notice the scene over here, this is actually done by an AI, an artificial intelligence. I just keyed in out of this world theater. And the AI gave me this out of this world theater design. So imagine what the kids, so these would be grade 11 kids, imagine what they can come up with if you just guide them towards what good theater design is. So theater design is taking all aspects of the theater into account. Okay, so what is a good theater design? A good theater design is a well-engineered space. All elements are considered. And when your audience feel connected to your performers, that is good theater design. So let's consider the architecture. So this one came from theaterproject.org. You can download it there and see other plans and other of their publications there. So this is a basic theater design. All the parts here you can see. Of course, theaters nowadays will always have control rooms, sound rooms, projection booth, and all that. So those are a theater must nowadays. And of course, you have your seating areas. The more you can seat, the better, of course. So let me show you another angle. So this is from top view. So you could see a different way. So you could see it's not just the theater itself. So you have the stage and your audience here. It also takes into account the whole thing, the front of house. How will people enter? Because the moment they enter the theater as a whole, their experience already starts. So now you are going to have to take that into consideration. Once they enter, what do they see? Because theaters right now, it's not just the building. There are amenities in it. And the more services that you provide, the more you can enhance the experience of your audience. Now, when you're doing this project, remember, when you're designing your theater, it is imperative that you take your audience on a journey. If you don't have a picture peg, because I know it's going to be hard to find picture pegs, especially students out there, you may sketch your own design. That would be the best. Schematics, of course, are great because it would really explain the theater. Now, teachers, just a reminder, please make your students go to royalty-free sites. Okay, don't just steal picture in the internet. Don't just Google your internet. There are sites out there that you can use. So before you start, just go through those sites, okay? So don't steal pictures anywhere. So do your best, be creative, be unique. Now, first things first, you need your theater name and you would like people to come on tour with you. So give your theater a name and welcome them in. Your theater exterior. What would your theater exterior look like? It's going to be outdoors, of course, or unless, of course, your theater will be incorporated inside a mall or inside a theme park. So what would the exterior look like? Next, the moment they enter the lobby, what does the lobby look like? Because that's already taking them into that journey. The moment they step into your threshold, what wonders would be there? I once stepped into the Metropolitan Theater of Manila. They were still doing repairs, but the moment I stepped in, I was actually transported back into turn of the century, I think, because even if those murals at that time were not yet restored, I could see the grandeur of the place. So the moment you step into the lobby, you're already transported. The stage. Is your stage indoor or outdoors? What kind of stage design would it have? So is it out of this world? You're going to have to make it exciting. So these are pictures also done by an AI with the same prompts. I told it to make me an out of this world theater. This is what they come up with. Now, what's different about your stage? What makes your stage interesting? What makes it creative? Um, I would seriously ask you guys to research on stages by Cirque du Soleil. Those are out of this world. Those are creative. In Zaya, they have a 360-degree globe that goes around. In Ka, they have the stage that lifts up and twirls 360 degrees on air. In O, their stage is on top of water. Water, and there's fire and a lot of things in the air. So what is different from your stage? So is it going to be something very classical, very Baroque, like this one? I forgot where this is, but this is from a European theater. I got this picture from Pixabay. So very ornate, very interesting. So once you come into the theater, you know you're in a place of opulence. You know you're in a place of high artistic talents. There are other special theater spaces, of course. So this is a picture of the Globe Theater. Yes, it is where Shakespeare used to perform. This is what their stage looks like. And people can stand. They don't sit, unfortunately. They just stand around the stage. So this is the Globe Theater. This is the Roman Amphitheater. It is considered a stage. Once upon a time in ancient Rome, there was no microphone. This is their stage. So if you were to stand in that circle over there and try to project your voice, and the audience will hear you. So you're going to have to really speak loudly. So plays and orations and even debates were done here in the amphitheater. This is a stadium. It's usually used for sports, but on certain special occasion, they turn it into a theater space, or more importantly, a concert space. So you can see a lot of people here in this concert space. Is this considered a theatrical space? Yes, it is. Now you're going to, of course, take into consideration the performer's area. And when you do this, you also have to take into account what kind of props and stage buildings you can put in there. So big stages can accommodate larger than life sets, while smaller theaters will have a hard time. So smaller theaters might resort to just a backdrop and props as compared to big theaters where they can accommodate built sets. Consider your audience. Your audience need to be comfortable. Your audience, in a way, has to connect to the performers. They have to hear the sounds well, surround sounds and everything. So look at these seats. Yeah, they look old, but they look like they have tiny speakers here on the side. That way, your audience will hear your performers. Next, the connection to that audience. What kind of performances and what kind of stage design will get your performances to connect to your audience? As a good theater design, you also have to take that into consideration. Then you have your backstage and other relevant areas. What amenities do you have in that theater? And of course, you also need amenities for your own performers. So your backstage, do you have a big backstage or just one giant open space? Do they have rooms each? Are there partitions? Things like that. Don't forget to put a schematics or blueprints of your theater. Okay, so take into consideration what kind of performances will be staged in this theater, because ultimately your theater design will need that. Because if you're just going to stage concerts in this theatrical space, then Do you need such a deep stage? Do you need sets? Do you need places where you can rig those sets? Then consider, of course, what makes your theater unique. Can this be considered a theatric space? I'll leave that up to you. All right, I'm going to give you a sample, okay? So this sample will be done story style because I want to get creative that way. Welcome. Welcome to the Rocky Rockette's Horror Theater. This theater is dedicated to gore, horror, suspense, and true crime performances. Get ready for the ride of your life. This theater will take you on a journey. Mature audiences only. Rocky Rockette Horror Theater is a world-class horror-themed theater showing only shows that get your hearts pumping and your brains working. Every aspect of the theater follows the horror theme. Technology is integrated seamlessly into everything from stage design, exhibits, hallways, and the performances. So performances in the main theaters would be doll shows, plays, musicals, dances, orchestra, immersive theater, fringe theater. In the hallways, there will be radium shows, escape room, and exhibits. This is the exterior of the Rocky Rockette Horror Theater. It's white, but fully neo-Gothic. So you have some gargoyles and some angel statues that would be staring at you. And, you know, sometimes these little eyes would be moving and following the audience around. Once you enter the lobby, you will be greeted by several white nondescript doors. Each door will lead you to a hall or a theater. There is no guide, only a warning the ticket master gives you. Once in the theater, your life is no longer in your hands. The hall is narrow, and if you look out the window, there are faces looking back. Each hall leads to a different place. Some halls are recreation of crime scenes. Some halls are actual crime scenes. You get to the theater, but it's not the theater you're looking for. This is the cinema room where they show films of gore and suspense. A lot of experimental films are shown here, but you have a show to catch. So let's move on. Finally, you reach the theater. It fills up quickly and the lights dim. This is the schematics of the theater. We have spotlights all around, heavy red draped curtains, box seating, and orchestra seats. Orchestra area where the performances will, or the musicians will play, will be on each side. This is the stage. It is deep. And you have the proscenium walls where your actors can jump in and out. Don't worry, the seats are plush, but the fabric seems oddly water and stain proof. The ushers tell you it's because it's easier to remove blood that way. The seats give you a false sense of security. You get comfortable because once the performances start, you won't ever be. The curtains part. The show will begin. You know the show will not disappoint. So here are some of the performances that you will be seeing in the main theater. So sit back and immerse yourself. After the show, you exit the halls and you see an exhibit. You come close and look closer. These mannequins. You realize they are moving and looking at you. Are they human? You run and get to the exit. It doesn't lead you out of the theater, but only out in the private gardens. The trees are a welcome sight until you look closely and see they weren't branches, but hands. Thank you, the usher says. Please come back again. You get the fright of your life, but you know you'll be back. And that is the end of our theater tour. Did you guys get the project? Do you think you can replicate it on your own? I hope so. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey. And as a teacher, I hope you learned something. And to my fellow teachers out there, I hope you can use this video as a way to help your students create their own theater. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. Please share my content. Click like, click subscribe. I would really, really appreciate that. Thanks, everyone, and Madayaw!